Hello, welcome to Pre-Technical Mathematics. This video lecture is on multiplication and division of fractions, Chapter 7, Section 5. Let's take a look at a couple of the rules first. Let's start down here. When you're multiplying a fraction times a fraction, you just multiply across AC and BD. However, when you divide, what you need to do is take this and flip it. We want the inverse. So it becomes AB times the inverse D over C. And then you work it just as a multiplication problem. All right? Alright, so let's get started. Here's a simple one. 7x. So we just multiply across. So we'll put 7x times 5y and 6 times 2t gives us 35 xy over 12t. So you see, we're just multiplying across. Here's a division problem. Another simple one so we can catch on to the basics. We want to rewrite this as 9x over 2y times, and we write the inverse 3a over 4y. So that gives us 9 times 3 is 27. I'm just going to put the a in front of the x, but it doesn't really matter the order. And then we have 2 times 4 gives us 8, and we have 2y, so that gives us 8y squared. Okay, let's try a little more complicated one. Here's another one. Let's see, this is multiply. So what we have is x squared y squared t b squared c over a b c y cubed t. Alright, we see easily that this t and this t cancels each other out. How about this b? We've got a b squared here and a b, so we'll cancel this one and we'll change this to a 1. So we've canceled 1b. Okay, how about our y's? We've got 2 y's here and 3 y's here, so we'll get rid of the 2 and we'll change this to a 1. Now, we can't do anything to our x's, our a's. How about our c's? Sure, that's an easy one. We can cancel that c. So now let's take a look at what we have left. We have x squared, and that b1, we don't have to put 1 there, it's understood, over a, and we have y to the 1, we don't need the 1, ay. Okay. how about you trying one? Try this one. Stop or pause the video, solve the problem, and then check in the course documents. Alright, back to me. We're going to pull in a couple more of your skills. We've got x squared plus 3x. What can we do with that? We can take out the common monomial. So we have x times x plus 3 times a squared over 6a. Now what can we do with this? This is the difference of squares. So we write that x plus 3, x minus 3, the difference of squares. So we can cancel out the x plus 3. We can cancel out this a and make that a 1. And I think what's left would be our answer. So we have x a over 6 times x minus 3. Now you could multiply this out or not. It doesn't really make a difference at this point. We're just trying to get it to this level. Here's another one. Now, don't let it scare you. We have x plus y. Let's get that down on the top. Now, we've got to flip this, right? So let's put what we have. This is the difference of squares. So that will become x minus y, x plus y. And this is a double, so we have x plus y times x plus y. Okay, so now we've got to invert them, right? Because we've got a divided by here. So we'll just, let's just leave them separated for now. So we pick up the bottom, x minus y times x plus y. Okay, let's see what we've got on the bottom. We can take out the common monomial, 3. We end up with x minus y. We pick up the top because we inverted it, x plus y, x plus y. Alright, let's see, we can simplify that. We can simplify that, and we can simplify that. So our answer, don't get confused here, it's in the denominator, is actually 1/3. Would you have guessed from this big long problem that the answer would be 1/3? Alright, I've got one for you. This is divided by, so make it into a multiplication. Use your rules of factoring. going to need your help with this one. See, we've got it divided by here, so we're going to have to invert that. Let's just write down here, what do we have? M squared minus 49. That's the difference of squares again. M plus 7. Now, we've got to factor a trinomial. So we've got an M and an M. Factors of 14 are 7, 2, 14 and 1, but it looks like this combination of 7 and 2 might work to get us a 5. Let's check that. Negative 7m, positive 2m gives us a negative 5m. And a negative 7 times a positive 2 gives me a negative 14. So I've got it. Okay, now I'm going to factor this trinomial, because remember we have to invert it. So I know we've got 2m and m, and the only combinations of 7 are 7 and 1, so we got to end up with a 13. So if I put a 7 here, my outside smiley face is 14, and 1 here, that's going to get us to 13. So let's put 7 here and 1 here. I need a negative 13. Okay, so let's check that. 1m, negative 14m gives me negative 13m. And 1 times negative 7 gives me negative 7. Now that top seems pretty easy. 7. Okay, let's see. I can take our 7 plus 7's out. I can take our 7 minus 7's out. And I think that's all I can do. So let's write our answer. 2m plus 1 times m minus 7. And what we have left in the bottom is m plus 2. It greatly simplifies that problem. Okay, here's the last one I'm going to try, and then I'll give you one. Okay, we've got another divided by. So let's see. X squared minus 16, that is the difference of squares. Now I've got to factor a trinomial. Factors of 8 are 2 and 4. That's going to give us a combination of 6. So if we put in here, and we need those both negative, check it. Negative 2x, negative 4x gives us negative 6, and a negative 2 times a negative 4 gives us 8. Okay, now we're going to factor. We've got to flip this around, so this will be this factor. 13. 2 and 7 again, you think? Yeah. How about minus 7 minus 2? Negative 7x, negative 2x. Good. Okay, then up here, we can take out a common monomial of x squared, and we get x plus 4. Okay, now we have to simplify. Here's an x plus 4, and here's an x plus 4. Here's an x minus 4, here's an x minus 4. Here's an x minus 2, and here's an x minus 2. I think that's all we can do. So we end up with x minus 7 over x squared. Looked bad from the beginning, but you're just using your skills. Alright, last one. Here you go. Now this is a multiplication problem, so you won't have to flip it. This is the end of this video lecture.